Welcome. I am so happy to participate in the Creativity Challenge number 2. My name is Mr. Blanchett. I'm a technology education engineering teacher at Birchland Park, and I am choosing to read Barnacle is Bored. I got this from my daughter. She's a special education teacher in Palmer, and she said that she thinks you kids would love it. So here we go. I am bored. Bored, bored, bored. There's our barnacle. He looks pretty bored. Every day is the same. The tide comes in. I am wet and cold. The tide goes out. Poor barnacle. He's not very happy. I am dry and hot. The sun comes up. The sun goes down. The sun comes up again. Waves roll under me. Waves roll over me. And here I sit. Poor barnacle. What's going to happen to him? Look at this guy. The little polka-dotted show-off. I bet his days are so fun. Look at him. He is so much happier and smiling and colorful. Let's see what's going to happen. I bet he dives with the dolphins. I bet he soars with the sailfish. Now, if he did that, look at how much fun that would be. I bet he flips with the flounder. I bet he flops with the finbacks. Look at that, that's a finback. I bet he plays with plankton. Look at plankton. Looks a little different than the plankton that I remember on SpongeBob. I bet he... Oh no. I don't think it was very good. Look what's after him. And guess what? I don't see him anymore. Let's see what happens. Look how scared Barnacle is. It's almost there. I am not bored. I am bored. And look at the colorful fish in that scary creature's belly. The end. Hope you enjoyed Barnacle is Bored. He was bored at first, but not at the end. Enjoy and stay safe.
Hi, I'm Ryan Martin from Birchland Park Middle School, and today I'll be reading Elephants Cannot Dance by Mo Willems. Elephants cannot dance. Gerald! Let's dance, I can teach you. I am teaching all of my friends. I would love to learn how to dance. But elephants cannot dance. Are you kidding me? No. Look it up. Page 11. Gerald, it does not say that you cannot try. You are right, Piggy. I can try to dance. I will try to dance. Let's dance! Oof. Okay, let's go. Jump with me when I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Jump! Jump! You were a little late on the jump. I was a little late on the jump. We will try again. We will try again. Move your arms this way. We will try again. We will try again. Lift your leg this way. We will try again. We will try again. Up, up, down, down. Spin, spin, stop, stop. Forward, forward, backward, backward. Wiggle waggle, robot walk, robot walk. Enough! I have tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. But I am an elephant, and elephants just cannot dance. Plop. Oh, Gerald. Hello! We're ready to learn some moves. I'm sorry, I cannot teach you now. My friend is sad. Silly, we do not want to teach us. We want to learn the elephant. Teach me, please. Me too. Me 3. More feeling. Keep trying. You're getting it. The end.
Hi, I'm Jameson Beecher. I'm in 8th grade and I'm a student at Birchland Park Middle School, and today I'm going to read Harold and the Purple Crayon. One evening, after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. There wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon for a walk in the moonlight, and he needed something to walk on. He made a long straight path so he wouldn't get lost, and he set off on his walk, taking his big purple crayon with him. But he didn't seem to be getting anywhere on the long straight path, so he left the path for a short cut across a field, and the moon went with him. The shortcut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree in it. It turned out to be an apple tree. The apples would be very tasty, Harold thought, when they got red. So he put a frightening dragon under the tree to guard the apples. It was a terribly frightening dragon. It even frightened Harold. He backed away, and his hand holding the purple crayon shook. Suddenly he realized what was happening, but by then Harold was over his head in the ocean. He came up thinking fast, and in no time he was climbing aboard a trim little boat. He quickly set sail, and the moon sailed along with him. After he had sailed long enough, Harold made land without much trouble. He stepped ashore on the beach, wondering where he was. The sandy beach reminded Harold of picnics, and though the thought of picnics made him hungry, so he laid out a nice, simple picnic lunch. There was nothing but pie, but there were all 9 kinds of pie that Harold liked best. When Harold finished the picnic, there was quite a lot left. He hated to see so much delicious pie go to waste. So Harold left a very hungry moose and a deserving porcupine to finish it up, and off he went looking for a hill to climb to see where he was. Harold knew that the higher he went up, the farther he could see, so he decided to make the hill into a mountain. So if he went high enough, he thought he could see the window of his bedroom. He was tired and he left. He felt he ought to be getting to bed. He hoped he could see the bedroom window from the top of the mountain. But as he looked down over the other side, he slipped, and there wasn't any other side of the mountain. He was falling in thin air. But quickly he kept his wits and his purple crayon. He made a balloon and grabbed onto it. And he made a basket under the balloon big enough to stand in. He had a fine view from the balloon, but he couldn't see his window. He couldn't even see his house. So he made a house with windows, and he landed in the balloon on the grass in the front yard. None of the windows was his window. He tried to think where his window ought to be. He made some more windows. He made a building full of windows.
Yes, we are.
He made a lot of buildings full of windows. He made a whole city full of windows. But none of the windows was his window. He couldn't think where it might be. He decided to ask a policeman. The policeman pointed the way. Harold was going anyway. Pointed the way Harold was going anyway, but Harold thanked him. And he walked along with the moon, wishing he was in his room and in and in his bed. Then suddenly Harold remembered. He remembered where his bedroom window was, and there was a moon, and it was always right around the moon. Then Harold made his bed. He got in it and drew up the covers. The purple crayon dropped on the floor, and Harold dropped off to sleep.
Hi, my name is Grace Guile, and today I'm going to be reading you Library Mouse by Danielle Kirk. Sam was a library mouse. His home was in a little hole in the wall behind the children's reference books, and he thought that life was very good indeed. Every day when the library was full of people walking up and down the aisles, studying, checking out books, and working on the computers, Sam was curled up in his little hole, sound asleep. Every night when the people went home and the room was dark and quiet, the library belonged to Sam. And every night Sam read and read, and he read and he read. Sam read picture books and chapter books. He read biologies and poetry, cookbooks and sport books, fairy tales and ghost stories, and mysteries by the dozen. Sam's mind was filled with facts and informations and imagined from faraway places, and his imagination brimmed over his wonder and fantasy. One night, Sam decided that it was time he wrote his own book. Sam folded over some little squares of paper he took from the librarian's desk to make the pages. Then he found a pencil that had rolled underneath a shelf, and he began to writing what you know. Sam had read in a book about writing, so Sam wrote about being a mouse. He drew a picture for his book by posing in his little mirror and then sketching what he saw. Sam worked very, very hard, and finally his book was done. He called it Squeak, A Mouse's Life. And he wrote on the cover words and pictures by Sam. He went to the biography and autobiography section of the library and tucked his first book into the shelves. Then he went back to his little hole in the wall and waited. The next afternoon, sunlight streamed through the library's window. "What is this?" asked a girl whose teacher had asked her to the library to do a book report. "I've never seen anything like this before," said the librarian, and she put Squeak the Mouse's Life on her desk. Later, she showed it to the other librarians. Sam decided to write another book. It was called The Lonely Cheese. And working on this book made him feel very hungry. It was a good thing that he always found some crumbs to eat by the trash basket in the hallway. When he finished the illustrations, Sam scurried to the picture book section and proudly placed his latest book on the shelves. Then he went back to his little hole and in the wall and waited. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the library windows. "What is this?" asked the little boy who was looking for a big book about trucks. "It's another book by Sam." "This," said the librarian. "Just who is Sam?" she thought to herself, and put the lonely cheese on her desk. Later she showed it to the children at the story time. Sam decided to write a chapter book. It was called The Mysteries of Mouse Mansion, and it gave Sam goosebumps when he wrote down the scary parts. The full moon was shining down through the windows of the darkened library when Sam creeped over to the mystery section and sneakily placed his book on the shelves. Then he went back to his little hole in the wall and waited. The next day, sunlight streamed through the library's windows. "What's this?" asked a teenager who was looking for a good creepy book to read before bed. We've got to find who this Sam is," said the librarian. "I'll leave a note on the bulletin board and tell him that I would like to meet our new author." She put The Mystery of Mouse Mansion on her desk, and later she showed it to the writing class that came in after school. That night, Sam found the note. It read, "Dear Sam, all of us at the library have been enjoying your books immensely. We are all wondering who this mysterious Sam really is. However, whoever you are, you certainly have a lot of talent. Not everyone has it in them to write even a single book, let alone 3. We think it would be fun to have a Meet the Author Day with you as our special guest. The children would love to hear you read your books and share some of your secrets of writing. Yours truly, Miss Foster, the head librarian." Sam felt very nervous. He was happy that the children at the library liked his book. He was flattered that they wanted to meet him, but mice, as a rule, are very shy when it comes to meeting people. Sam could not understand why people thought that writing and making stories was so hard. If only they would try, they might find out that writing was really lots of fun. Sam had an idea. He went to the librarian's desk and got some supplies. All night long he wrote and drew and snipped and folded and stapled his little rectangles of papers into mouse-sized books. In the morning, when the library opened up the children's room, there was a sheet of paper taped to the door. "Meet the author today." It read. A little girl was the first to see Sam's display. All set up on the front table. "What is this?" she asked. There sat a tissue box with a pair of pencils taped to the side. sides and a banner stretched across the top. On the banner it wrote, "Meet the author," with an arrow pointing down. The girl bent over to look in the empty tissue box. "Oh," she said in surprise, for there at the bottom of the box lied Sam's little mirror, and the mirror in the mirror the little girl saw her own face smiling up at her. "Me," she said, "an author?" Next to the mirror was a stack of tiny blank books and a pile of pencils that Sam had sharpened with his teeth. All that day, and for many more thereafter, people came to the little display to meet the author. Soon there was a whole shelf full of books written and illustrated by people who had never written a book before, telling stories that had never been told. Sam was a library mouse. His home was a little hole in the wall behind the children's reference books. All that night, Sam sat in his hole thinking and thinking about the next book he would write. Would it be a mystery, an adventure, and a funny book, a true story? There were so many stories to tell. He said, I'll just have to write one of each. Sam picked up a pencil and got to work. Thank you for listening to the Mouse Library.